Inspiration sparks and raises our vibration, encouraging all of us to live our best lives. It's my pleasure to welcome our speaker for this evening, Darrin Ford. Darrin is a trustee on the SCoA board, as well as the Media Center Director. His passion is with healing and inspiring others on their spiritual path. He was attuned as a Reiki Master in 2004 and continues to work towards becoming a better medium and a better spiritual leader. A warm Harmony Harbor welcome to Darrin.
Thank you, Jen. And good afternoon or evening, wherever you are at. And thank you for allowing me to serve today as I am guided by Spirit's presence and influence. For some time now, we've heard of a coming shift, an awakening in humanity, a rising to an expanded consciousness. And I think I've talked about this subject a lot of times, and I want to keep expanding on that. After witnessing all that has unfolded over the past few years, I believe that shift is no longer coming, and it has happened. The collective consciousness has already been lifted. Now the world itself find itself standing within a higher frequency of awareness, and what remains for our system, our relationships and our choices, and even our very thoughts to evolve in alignment with this new consciousness. The awakening has arrived. Now we must catch up to it. So I'm going to start with an inspirational poem. This is from Pat A. Fleming, and it's called What Life Should Be. I learned while still a child what this life is meant to be. I know it goes beyond myself. It's so much more than me. To overcome the tragedies, to survive the hardest times, to face those moments filled with pain and still manage to be kind, to fight for those who can't fight for themselves, to always share my light with those who wander in the dark, to love with all my might. I still stand up with courage, though standing on my own, to still get up and face each day, even when I feel alone, to try to understand the ones the no one cares for, and make them feel some value when the world felt like it let them go. To be an anchor, strong and true, that person loyal to the end, to be consistent source of hope to my family and friends, to live a life of decency, to share my heart and soul, to always say I'm sorry when I've harmed both friend and foe, to be proud of who I've tried to be and this life I chose to live, to make the most of every day by giving all I have to give. To me, that is what this life should be. To me, that's what it's for. To take what God has given me and make it so much more. To live the life that matters. To be someone of great worth. To love and be loved in return. And make my mark on earth. So let's start with the fact that everything changes. From birth to death, everything that lives changes. Trees transform from the seasons, food ripens, then decays, babies learn to crawl, then walk, even rocks seeming eternal are worn down by wind and rain. Thoughts and emotions do shift over time. The child who once threw a tantrum about taking a bath may become the adult who can't wait to get home and soak in one after a long day. Life is flux, said the philosopher Heraclitus. As far back as 500 BC, he recognized that everything is in a constant state of becoming, always moving, always changing. Like a river, life flows ever onward. While we may step into the stream, the waters passing our feet will never be the same waters as before. To resist this natural flow, Heraclitus said, is to resist the very essence of existence. there is nothing permanent except change. Is the rise in the feminine, nurturing, inclusive energy pressing so firmly into the rigid walls of the old masculine structures that is causing them to lash out like a cornered animal? And is this lashing out, however painful to witness, actually evidence that something deeper is breaking open? The Native American understanding of Mother Earth's current life cycle is deeply rooted in a spiritual tradition, sacred observation of nature, and an intimate relationship with the earth as a living being, not just a resource. While specific beliefs vary among tribes and nations, there are shared themes that many indigenous cultures hold about the Earth's life cycle and where it currently stands. To many Native American peoples, Earth is not an object or a place, it's living. It's a breathing entity. She is Mother Earth, who gives life, sustains life, and receives it again in death. Everything is interconnected. The animals, the plants, the sky, the people, the elements, all as seen as relations or relatives. Many native traditions speak of a return to the original instructions, the spiritual and ecological wisdom passed down by ancestors on how to live in the right relationship with each other and earth. So this includes honoring the land and not taking more than we need, living in balance with the rhythms of nature, listening to spirit, dreams, animals, and all of our signs, respecting the wisdom of elders and the innocence of children, healing the wounds of separation between humans and the earth and between each other. The current life cycle then is a choice point, a moment where humanity can either wake up and return to balance or continue on a path that leads to something that we know as destruction and suffering. Have you ever felt deeply angry, only to sit later in silence and realize a different point of view that is currently changing something in you? I have. Importantly, these teachings are not just about doom. They are filled with hope. Many prophecies say that the new generation is rising. They are often called rainbow warriors, who will come from all races and nations, carrying the wisdom to restore peace, healing, and harmony. Some teachings say that women will lead this return, guided by the sacred feminine and the wisdom of Mother Earth herself. These past few years, I have offered us all chance, whether we realize it or not, to sit in contemplation, to reevaluate not just the world around us, but the world we want to live in, the world we dream to live in. So, how does this change happen? Did the new normal slip in quietly, like water flowing under our feet while we waited on the bank for the same old waters to return? Were we waiting for something that had already passed, as this too shall pass? Actor Tom Hanks used this phrase during the height of COVID pandemic. Psychotherapist Julia Samuel used it in the title of her book, This Too Shall Pass: Stories of Change, Crisis, and Hopeful Beginnings. In it, she writes, change is the only one certainty in life, and pain is the agent of this change. It forces you to wake up and see the world differently. The discomfort of it forces you to see the reality of it. This through pain that we learn personally and also universally. Pain is often a great teacher. It pushes us to move. In healing, it often starts with a whisper, something soft, subtle, letting us know something is off. If we ignore it, That whisper grows a bit louder until it becomes a scream we can no longer avoid. In the same way, collective pain must be understood. We must look at what choices have been embedded into our systems, our cultures, our politics, and our religions, and that we may cause some of this pain. Generations can bring change. In each generation carries some wisdom, not just rebellion. If younger generations tell us that they feel more spiritual and less religious, are we listening? Are we curious about what that means? What does that mean to you? Do you agree? Disagree? Where are you on your own spiritual path? The wisdom of anger, often overlooked because we tend to see anger as something negative, something to suppress, avoid, or feel guilty about. But in many spiritual, psychological, and indigenous traditions, anger is not inherently bad. It is a sacred messenger, a sign that something is out of alignment. To allow anger to govern our actions is to stop growing. When we cling to statements like, not in my house, or because I said so, we leave little room for dialogue, and younger generations may push harder or force the necessary shifts that we resist. Anger is a signal, not a sin. The wisdom of anger is often overlooked because we tend to see anger as something negative, something to suppress, avoid, or feel guilty about. But in many spiritual and indigenous, anger is not inherently bad. It's a sacred messenger, a sign that something is out of alignment. A Cherokee elder tells his grandson, there's a battle inside me between two wolves. One of them is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, and ego. And the other one is joy, peace, love, hope, humanity, kindness, and compassion. The boy asks, which wolf wins? The elder replies, the one that you feed. But you must feed both at some point and guide them in harmony. The angry wolf has great strength and will protect the pack. You must have to teach him to serve, not lead. Let me share another poem by Rumi, and this is translated by Coleman Barks. This being human is a guest house, every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, meaningfulness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing you out for something new to delight. A dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door with laughter and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Anger is not your enemy. It's a sacred ally that held with consciousness. It shows you what needs to be changed, where you've been violated, what you deeply care about, what wounds still need some healing. The wisdom of anger is that it awakens us, and if we are willing to listen and learn, it can become one of our greatest tools for transformation. We live in a time when psychics, mediums, and spiritually sensitive people are tapping into consciousness and sharing messages to help and guide us. They remind us that time and space are not separate, that we, as spirits, are part of a vast and interconnected tapestry. The strange and unusual. They're only weird because they fall outside of our comfort zones. But we don't allow ourselves to explore these new ideas. We risk missing the opportunities they offer, opportunities to grow, to heal, and to evolve. We are being asked individually and collectively to awaken, to ask ourselves not just what do I believe, but what does this belief still serve for my highest good? We can no longer blindly absorb everything we hear in the news or from a pulpit without discernment. Instead, asking, is this right or wrong? Will they approve of me? Is this what I'm supposed to believe? You can pause and ask yourself, or if you want to ask Spirit, they're also listening. Is this in resonance with the version of me that is most whole, most free, most aligned with Spirit? Then listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole being. The answers may not come as words. They may come as a feeling, a knowing, a simple sigh of relief, or a quiet no that invites you to look deeper. This isn't just a question, it's a compass. It brings you back to your center, not what the world demands, not what the fear, not even that what tradition insists, but your truth. It's an invitation to pause, listen to your body, your spirit, your knowing, because deep down you already feel what resonates and what does not. This question cuts through noise, filters out manipulation, and reconnects you with the path that is most aligned with your soul. It reminds you of your peace, your purpose, and your joy, and to understand that they are sacred. So take this question with you. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that you are allowed to choose what nurtures your wholeness, because you are the one who gets to define what truth feels like when it's in harmony with your higher self. Defining your own reality is one of the most powerful things you can do as a consciousness, spiritual, and creative being. It means choosing to live from the inside out rather than letting the world define you from the outside in. Reality starts with awareness. What you focus on becomes your world. Awareness allows you to see reality as not just what happens to you, but how you interpret, engage, and respond. The words you speak and the stories you tell about your life become the structure of your reality. Intention is how you co-create with the universe. When you live with clear intention, choosing love over fear, curiosity over judgment, truth over conformity, you begin to shape your reality in alignment with your soul. Without intention, you may drift. With intention, you may design. Ultimately, your truest reality is not defined by the news, your bank account, or even your past. It's defined by your connection to something greater. You can call it spirit, source, the divine, or your higher self. When you align with your truth, you begin to live a life of conscious choice, not unconscious reaction. Reality is not just something you wake up in, it's something you wake up to. And once you wake up to it, you can shape it with love, clarity, and power. My hope and prayer for you today is that you understand your spirituality and what it means to you, that you can find strength and knowledge, that your thoughts and actions are part of the God force and that the God force is feeding you. Love and blessings.